A new film school is currently in pre-production at Cleveland State University. Faculty and students are excited about the new school and are talking about the process. It all started in April 2016 when President Ronald Berkman held a press conference along with several state legislators and Ivan Schwartz, President and CEO of the Greater Cleveland Film Commission. Together they announced that Cleveland State University was chosen to receive a $7.5 million grant from the state capital budget. The grant is slated for a soon-to-be School of Film, Television, and Interactive Media. Following the passage of Ohio's film tax credit legislation in 2009, the state's movie industry has continued to grow and diversify. Instead of filming in Hollywood or somewhere else in the country, production companies came to Cleveland. Some films that came to Cleveland include The Avengers, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Draft Day, and Fun Size. With all of the excitement to come, we decided to sit down with Elizabeth Weems to interview students, staff, and even high school students to get their perspective on the new school. Dr. Evan Lieberman, who is a screenwriter and film professor at Cleveland State, is the main professor that got the school rolling with the Cleveland Film Commission president, Ivan Schwartz, and is now working hard to get the TV, film, and interactive media program from a department to a school.
Involvement is that I helped plan the new school kind of from the beginning, and now I am as the director of the Film, Television, and Interactive Media Division of the School of Communication. I'm sort of the point person for our division on the keeping up with developments and communicating with the dean's office and with the community. But this is a group endeavor, that's for sure. It's taken all of us to make this happen.
Tell me about some of those first conversations that were had and when those took place about the prospect of developing a new program and having a new school.
Well, it was really interesting because the first the conversations that took place were all very hush-hush. And they weren't necessarily so because it involved the state legislature. The genesis of this whole project goes back to Ivan Schwartz, the film commissioner, or the head of the Greater Cleveland Film Commission, and his relationship with politicians across the state. There was a desire on the part of the state to make a significant investment in growing the moving image industries of film, television, and interactive media. In order to do this, and that is the Film Commission's role, is economic development. And in order to do this, several high-level politicians from the state accompanied Ivan to Los Angeles, where they met with studio heads and people of that nature, producers, about the prospects of having more shooting done in Northeast Ohio. Everyone there was very enthusiastic. The experiences on films like The Avengers has been terrific, and there was a lot of enthusiasm for shooting in Northeast Ohio. But they said they needed three things to happen. One was they needed the tax incentive raised. Now they would like an uncapped tax incentive like the one that Georgia has, which has caused the industry in Georgia to grow beyond anyone's imagination. But they were not successful in uncapping it. They did raise the cap they doubled the cap. So that was successful. They also need studio space, and that's in the works right now. And the third part of the equation was an investment in film education, and that's where we came in. Right now we're in the midst of what is known as the 10-step process, a phrase that we've heard over and over again to the point where nobody really knows what this is. But the 10-step process is the means by which a portion of a existing department or school separates and becomes its own freestanding unit. So we're about midway through that process at this point. That process should be completed by spring semester. Probably we will not become a new unit until July 1st of 2017. There is also a search that's just begun for a new school director. Somebody who will be running the new school, and that is right at its beginning stages. For the next year, We're maintaining our current curriculum, and next year is going to be a transition year between our current curriculum to allow the students who are enrolled now to finish easily without throwing sort of a monkey wrench into their plans. And so that new curriculum will go into effect 2017, 2018. During that year, we'll do the work to get that curriculum passed through the many committees it has to pass through in the university. And I suppose the most important thing is the new facility. And that is still somewhat undecided. Right now, it's looking like the new facility will be on the 6th floor of Idea Center, that we're going to take over the entire 6th floor and create the new Film, Television, and Interactive Media School there, which is unbelievably exciting. The space is really beautiful. They've brought in an architectural team from Los Angeles, Bastian and Company, and Bastian is the leading architect of movie studios in the world. And he just finished the redesign of Paramount Studios. And although as a state entity, we can't say, oh, that's who's going to be designing it, because it has to go out for bid, and there's an entire process. Having Bastian involved means that we will have a beautiful, architecturally distinctive, and first-rate in every way facility. Well, I think one of the primary complaints of the students is, or that I've heard, is that there's no real central meeting place. There's no place where they can work together and meet together. And one of the things that we're going to do is not only have a number of common spaces where people can congregate and talk and hang out, but we also are going to have student production offices so that they could run their productions out of a dedicated space, in the film school. We'll also have screening rooms where the students can either screen their own films, or there'll be films running in there all day, smaller screening spaces. And so I think that addresses one of the student complaints, for sure. Other things that I hear are much more about the kind of the compression of our curriculum, that how much they have to do in how little time. Ideally, you have a course where it's an entire semester to make your film, where you're not learning lighting, and you're not learning camera operation, and you're not learning sound design, where you've already learned all that, but now your entire focus for that semester is the production of a high quality film. So that's a very legitimate complaint that I hear.
When we asked Lieberman if the $7.5 million will be enough money, he responded with a very interesting answer.
Never enough, but $1.5 million should get us where we need to be without too much problem. It'll allow us to have some very, very cool stuff, and but that changes. And as a university, there's not very many universities that are able to keep up with the development of new technology. I mean, USC can, Chapman can, but that's because they have extremely deep pockets. Very, very few do.
Evan Lieberman has a lot of great thoughts and ideas for the new school. He's not the only one thinking about the new school, though. His colleagues are very involved as well, as they prepare for the new school and know it's a very exciting time for Cleveland and Cleveland State. Elizabeth Weems sat down with the one and only Rick Pitchford, who's a technical engineer and avid god in the television, film, and interactive media department. The school could not function without him. He has some intriguing thoughts on the equipment for the students.
Well, it's my baby. Of course it's perfect. There are some soft spots in this facility. The studio we're in was built new in 1990. And at that time, our lighting system was current state-of-the-art 1980s. A lot has changed in lighting. I hope when we move to the new facility, we can have a new lighting system. All lightings are computerized now. You basically send power and data, and you tell individual lights what to do, and they do it, as opposed to now a large rack of electronics that controls the power to the light. So all you can do is dim a light, bring a light up. New lights are articulated. You can focus them, you can move them around, you can change the colors, all from a control panel. We don't have that. I doubt that we would ever have gotten the funds to replace our existing working light grid with a new light grid. Our audio in this studio is very good. It's relatively new, works fine. It's very easy to learn on. And for doing programs like this, not a problem. We do a music program, we don't cut it. So we have to scrounge a board, come up with other boards, put them in different rooms. I would like some flexibility in the sound system in the new television studio. The rest of the equipment that would be moved there, the cameras, which are new 2 years ago, the switchers, the servers, most of that is fine, very serviceable, will do quite well for a number of years. Everything that we do is put onto hard drives, onto computers. And the servers that we record on talk to the servers that we edit with very well. We will have to make that happen again at the new facility, but we will have more editing areas, so that system will grow. So we can, once the equipment that is here is moved over there, once we've got a little better lighting, a little more flexibility in the sound, we increase the size of the network, we will be doing everything we can do here and more there. And then comes the hard part, telling the powers that be that this is fine, we have a wonderful studio, we have a wonderful facility, wonderful editing, and it's going to be wonderful for 5 more years. And then guess what? We need more money. That becomes a headache, especially from my point of view. Because if they say after 5 years, not this year, we'll have to make it last 6, and then 7, and then 8, that's when the problem set in.
John Bond, another major player in the transformation, has been teaching at Cleveland State for a while. He has some very intriguing thoughts about the new school, as well as a projected date for the new school to be completed.
We have to hire a director. Evan Lieberman is doing a wonderful job seaming the gap right now. And he's trying to be the head guy with it. I wish him well with that. I'm sure he could do it. He's a dynamic leader and educator and a great practitioner. Then we have to create the curriculum. And then the hard part, can we get the faculty to do this curriculum to achieve the goals that we want within the confines of the university? All I can say is the university is strong in support of this, coming from the president, from the dean, and the provost, that they want this to succeed. We have a lot on the line. There's a lot of eyes watching us. There's a lot of money passing hands. And I got a feeling it's so hard to, ask for things when universities are having a hard time going. But I think they see the upside as like, they got 200 kids when we had nothing 5 years ago. And if we could build on that and be part of a thing that is really an incubator of revenue in the area, why not throw more money at something that's going to make more money? And I think they see us as a potential. We're not going down, we're going up. And I think they're going to have to kind of look at the rules and say, you know what, we got to help these film guys out to get started. We will have a honeymoon. I don't know how long it will last, but if you can go for more than 1 week, it's a good thing on a honeymoon, right? So I think we have a time period to get started with it. I think, there's a lot of decisions being made where we've just got to see what gets handed, but we're going to come and say what we think is right. We hope the new director comes in and likes what we do, and we think administration kind of knows we're going to be making some requests different from anyone else to make it happen. And they should expect that because they have high goals for us, then we have to hold them accountable to give us what we need to. And I believe they'll do it.
In thinking long term, are there any new developments about when the school is slated for construction, even though that's a later step because
Right.
constructing a building is a very
Sure.
long process?
All I can
Where
say,
do we stand?
first thing right now, what's the date today? We should date this.
November 1st,
November 1st. What year?
2016.
2016, because I'm usually so wrong on my predictions. But if I had a crystal ball in front of me, what I can tell you from what I know right now is that 2017, we should be a school of film and television and interactive media. We'll become a school. Will we have a full set of courses scheduled in place with equipment running in 2017? No. Hopefully we're in negotiations with IdeaStream. There's 3 possibilities to be in there. They're all working on it, but I kind of truly believe, unless something really falls off the table, we will be in a standalone building above Playhouse Square, where we'll be totally able to operate teaching film courses next to television courses, next to interactive courses, which is very exciting, and integrating ourselves into the PBS and education environment. They're very excited for us to be there, which brings other opportunities for work. This isn't all just film. I mean, it's like film, and I'm television going, my kids get jobs in television. I don't know about your film guys, but my kids are out there working. I like the idea that television is also going to be important to this process and that we're going to be above a television facility. That's very exciting. Students will be able to work hand in hand with professionals on things. We can even develop our classes into their programming. They've asked us for that. So those are some real immediate benefits that could happen. I would have to say if things are really full swing, it'd be like spring 2018, full facilities, new cohorts of students coming in and going full tilt from there. We're not going to forget our students that are in the studio right now that are saying, oh great, they got all the good stuff, what about me? You know, you will have a chance to be able to, depending if you're, you know, freshman or sophomore, you'll have a chance to continue on with what you've been doing and graduate in our program. Or if you want to take a little longer and go through the new curriculum, you can do that too. So you have the best of both worlds if you're currently involved as a student now. So that's good. And I got a feeling some students may want to even come back to school after the fact and maybe kind of sharpen up and learn from some, you know, professionals that we hope to bring in to teach these classes.
Staff at Cleveland State are not the only ones talking about the new film school. Students are excited as well, but do have some concerns about the new school.
I was pumped. I'm still pumped because, to my knowledge, I think this is the only and first film school in Ohio, and that's going to bring in students, revenue, projects. I don't know, it's going to be great.
I was excited. I'm not really going to be a part of it, so I was just a tiny bit bitter. But I'm really happy for the reason that it's something that I think is really important and should be taken seriously in academia, and that's happening around here, and that's a beautiful thing. And I mean, also for me, I mean, there's probably going to be an MFA program within the next few years, so that's probably something I'll look into. But it's very exciting. It's good news for the university that we're getting bigger, that we're getting money like this. It's great for the city.
I was initially pretty surprised. I wasn't expecting this sort of thing, again, because this is such a small type of community, or so it feels on campus. Numbers would actually show that it's growing. It's a fast-growing major, and that this is actually something that the university can support and that is going to be very good for the university. I was skeptical at first. I wasn't sure that it was good for students. I wasn't sure that students were being looked out for by the administration. But now I think I've taken a little bit more of a broad scope, and I think that it's going to be very good for the future of the students who are in the film department and the television interactive media classes. Again, I think that certain things need to be done, attention needs to be given to certain things, but I think that it's going to be a good thing.
The school gets bigger, the curriculum gets bigger, and people don't forget about the studies aspect of the film program. So I hope they take the history classes and the contemporary films and all of the classes where we do sit and just talk and watch films. I hope that doesn't get left behind, and because I feel like that's so important for any film student. They should probably be watching and learning about the things and the industry that they want to be a part of. So I mean, the production aspect is really important, but so is the studies of it. And so I just hope that that doesn't fall behind. And I'm really worried that with the change of, I guess, curriculum, that there'll be sort of like a split of, if you want to just focus solely on production and only on studies. I'm worried that people will forget to or just outright reject the studies aspect, and then they're just learning how to operate a camera, and there's no heart in their filmmaking.
I'm hoping to see things that are a little bit more refined, something expanding yet refining it, like having more than just a few tracks in film, having a sound design track, having post-production and pre-production tracks, because those are the careers that people want to have after college, and some people feel that they're not prepared. I think I've found a few of my focuses. Like, I love to write and I love editing, so I know that those are the tracks that I wanted to take. But I think a lot of people, it takes a little bit longer than 4 years to really truly flesh out what you want to do, and if those paths are clearly put in front of you, I think people will find that right one a lot quicker.
I was very excited about the initial film school announcement, but then I was kind of hurt because it's happening right after I graduate, so I'm not going to be here to be able to partake in a lot of the benefits that the film school is going to bring.
What are some of those benefits?
I think job opportunities in Cleveland more so, since we have so many like heavy films coming to Cleveland all the time. You know, they're going to be looking for people right from Cleveland, and then they're going to take it from Cleveland State. And additionally, they're changing a lot of the courses and the structuring of the program, and I want to take a lot of those classes because they sound pretty incredible, like sound design and lighting design, because we don't have a specific class for that here.
All the students shared interesting thoughts about the new film school, but Najada Davis had a very interesting path that got him interested in film. He also shared his thoughts on the new school.
Actually, a long story, and we probably won't go into this too much right now, but I started off because my mom, she teaches belly dance, and she wanted some online classes. So we went through all my siblings, my brother and my sister, and one was falling asleep, the other one wasn't really into it. And when I started, I was really trying to like make it a pretty good product. So she told me to go to school for it. She's like, you should check this out. Checked it out. Been doing it ever since. It's been like maybe 4 or 5 years now since I started.
You mentioned belly dancing. How does that exactly relate to film?
Well, she wanted online classes, so she had to do videos for them, so we recorded her belly dancing. I can't really say I was excited, because it's hard for me to, like, really, I can't pinpoint excitement, I'm just not really that type of person. But I remember myself looking at the schedule. I was looking at my class schedule to see how I lined up with what was supposed to be happening. And right now, it might seem like I might still be around, but I don't know. So it just kind of made me think a little bit differently as the community as a whole that we have here at Cleveland State, and to say that I don't want to wait until the film school gets here before we actually start doing film school-like things.
Like Najada said, some of us may not get to see the new school, but high school students are the ones who will be getting their learning experience changed. We got to talk with students at Brush High School who are involved in Brush High School's AV/AV-TV program, and we asked them the skills they learned in the program and what they would like to do after high school. We also asked if they were interested in attending Cleveland State University.
Probably when I became a little bit of an actress back in my old school. I was always auditioning for plays, but I always wanted to see what it was like to be behind the camera, just to know the experience of it. And that in Brush, I finally get to know what it feels like, and it's really amazing. I didn't know about it until the other day, but as I'm hearing more about it, it seems very possible for me in the future.
Probably the end of my freshman year, when I started learning more. I found out that it was like really fun, and I had a lot going on like in my personal life, and it like helped calm me down and get me through it.
Mainly, I've learned how to like wrap cable and everything, but I haven't learned how to do camera or lighting or anything like that. I've only been doing audio in all 3 years, so I know a lot about the audio board and everything that has to do with that. And my brother's in the RAT program at Tri-C, so when he comes to visit, he would teach me new things that I didn't know how to do. I would consider it, but I think, especially with my brother being there, I'm leaning a little more towards the RAT program at Tri-C.
And what would you hope to get out of that?
Life skills and just more knowledge about audio and like intelligence, so I have a better chance of getting a career in it.
I would like to say running a scoreboard. That's fun. It's gotten like to the technicals of video editing. So it's kind of like making graphics, but more, number wise, and like you have to be exact with what you want to do. So like it got me used to dimensions and resolution, a lot of other terms in the editing world.
Really considered it, but like as I'm looking at it now, I probably would come here because it looks so professional and so amazing. Like all the technical stuff they have, it's all so overwhelmingly fun to me. Woo.
Do you plan on pursuing film studies if you're planning to go to college?
Yes, I do. I want to do screenwriting because I love writing so much. Just all these ideas I have, and I just want to get them down on paper as quick as I can before I forget them, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so good. I need it. Just.
Some of the skills that you've picked up in the AV-TV program.
Road rapping.
What's road rapping?
I would show you, but they're all being used. It's wrapping cable basically, but I can't. I don't.
Rolling cable is one of Delante's skills that he showed us, as John Bond barged on set and had him wrap some cable.
Thank you.
Here you go. Wrap that up.
Oh gosh, all right. Can I stand up?
Yes, you can.
All right. So, hold on. Which way I want
This
to
is the
hold
road
this?
rapping.
Yeah, all right. So, I can't do it. All right. Okay, got it. You gotta.
Oh, it's all in the wrist and the turn.
All in the wrist, like basketball. And there you have it.
Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Nice job, Delante. Elizabeth also had the pleasure to talk with interactive media and production coordinator Charbel J. Zachariah, who is the teacher of the AV-TV program at Brush High School. He talks about the class and how he prepares students for the industry and graduation.
So we cover a lot of things. We do television production, broadcast, we do theater production, and we do on-site interviews and things to that nature. So any sort of events happening that affects the community, affects our school district, we go on and we film that, we document it, and then everything we do is in-house. So we make our own DVDs, we make our own DVD covers, and we do our production editing in-house.
And why is that important to give high school students this opportunity to advance their skills and get practical, have practical application of them?
I think it's important because to have the type of program that we have, it just helps kids kind of broaden their knowledge, working hands-on with this sort of equipment and this sort of environment. Instead of just opening a book and reading about running a camera, you're actually running the camera. And it kind of just broadens your senses of how to do different things, and it makes you more aware of how to handle different situations.
Cleveland State University hopes to see some of the students from Brush at the new film school, which would be an exciting experience for everyone. Thanks again to everyone who we interviewed, and we can't wait to see what's in store for the future.